week against Greensburg Central, 36-18. They're the only unbeaten team remaining in Class A Eastern Conference. And if we take a look at the standings, how everything stacks up in the Eastern Conference, Clairton 4-0. They're at top of the heap right now. Greensburg Central and Wilkinsburg both at 3-1, are one game behind. And then we have Duquesne and Riverview tied for the fourth spot. They're each 2-2 and need to get some victories here in the last 3 weeks of the season. Today's schedule tells the story. Duquesne is at Wilkinsburg in another big Eastern Conference game. Greensburg Central is at Sarah. Hide the women and children from that one. And Clairton will be at Riverview here this afternoon in a big game that Riverview's beaten. Out for a little bit of revenge. Well, earlier this week we talked to Jake Kappa down here at Riverside Park during one of the practices, and he talked about the Clairton Bears and the task facing his club this afternoon. And what he was going to tell us is that this is probably about the fastest team they faced, including Wilkinsburg last week, and so they're going to be a tough foe this afternoon for Jake Kappa and his Raiders, who have been. Terrence Johnson, he's known as Slash, and he is a guy that you really got to watch here. He's not only a quarterback, but he can run with a football. He's kicked 19 extra points. He leads the Whippeal in extra points kicked. He's 6 foot, 200-pound senior. And last year, just to give you some sort of an indication, he ran for 800 yards, passed for 400, caught 100 yards worth of passes, scored 15 touchdowns, made 7 two-point conversions, and averaged 40 yards per punt and then time. So we could take a look at that Coach Kappa clip right now, and he's going to tell us a little bit.
Johnson, Dreer, Page, Webb. You know, I've seen these kids since they were freshmen. They've been starting. We've been beating them 3 years. We've beaten them 3 years in a row, and I think we're probably the only team that has. And the challenge is extra this year because they really believe and want to beat us. And our kids are pretty well determined. And the only reason is that their guys are not the WPIAL track champions is that they don't have a track team. But as fast as Wilkinsburg is, these guys are a lot faster. We're going to have to keep these guys in the box and not give them much running room. If we can do that, we can contain them. If we don't, then it will turn into a track meet. They are very, very fast. Terrence Johnson, and they're good players. They're well coached. They play the game well. They're not dirty. And they're going to come here very, very well prepared. And we have a real war in our hands.
Well, Terrence Johnson's main target is Dante Sanders, the wide receiver. He'll be wearing number 4, and they have an interesting relationship. They're cousins, first of all, and second of all, before the Steelers played the Tennessee Oilers a couple of weeks back at Three River, chance to spend some time with Cordell Stewart prior to that game, expecting maybe to spend about 5 minutes with him, and they were with Cordell for 45 minutes. He was giving them advice on how to handle things and all the success that they've had this year. So the Johnson-Sanders combination is something to be watched this afternoon. And their backfield, they're full of great backs. Elliott Page, number 8, a 5'9 junior. You're also going to have to look for Dreer, number 31, and they're just going to be a peck of trouble for Jake Kappa and his squad here this afternoon. Well, the Raiders 12-9. They had a 1st and goal on the 1-foot line, and they couldn't get in for a touchdown when they could have put the game away. And Coach Kappa very frustrated. If you read some of his comments in the paper earlier this week, at his team's play. We talked to Coach Kappa earlier this week about his club, and here is his assessment on what the future holds here in the near future for the Raiders.
Yeah, you know, you set out at the beginning hoping that you could win that 4th one, but you know that's not even a relevant factor now. We don't talk about that. You know, I'm a high school football coach, and these are high school kids, and those things happen. There are some people that are going to punish the kids and take it out of them, but they're kids. They're 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and we're 50-year-old coaches, and we got to be able to respond to that a little bit better than they do. And I think that we did in a manner of saying we just want to bounce back, and we want to try to go back conference championship. We haven't done that in any of the seasons I've coached. So we want to do this week is we want to get back the respectability that we deserve.
Have you changed anything during the practices, or are you going with the same routine, or have you just decided to change anything, maybe to squeeze that little bit extra out of them?
No, but I'll tell you what, the players have stepped it up a notch. After practice, they want to hit sleds and stuff, so we let them do that after practice. Anything that we do different than what we have been doing as far as conditioning is concerned would be nothing more than punishment. And I don't believe in punishing people for losing a football game. You know, coaches make mistakes too, and none of our guys none of my coaches, my coordinators ran any laps or any of that sort of thing. So, we're not after anybody, and nothing has to change. It's just that they have to be able to get that, to dehumanize it a little bit. They have to go after the juggler a little bit, and they're not doing that. And that's a choice.
Of his squad right there. Of course, the Raiders will be led in there by their senior quarterback, Justin Dujak. He'll be playing his second to the last game here at Riverside Park, it appears. A 5'9" senior, 180 pounds. He's completed 56% of his passes this year for 6 touchdowns. He had a pretty good game last week against Wilkinsburg, 9 out of 15 for 119 yards, and he did throw 1 interception. His top target recently has been number 80, Chad Bynum, the wide receiver, a 6'3", 180-pound senior. Caught 3 passes last week for 38 yards, and he's caught 17.2 yards of reception and 2 touchdowns. And, of course, the main running threat for the Raiders, as always this season, has been number 1, Lucas Heekins. When he's been out there and healthy, he's been outstanding. He's the 12th leading rusher in the WPIAL. He's amassed 852 yards so far on 80 carries, 10.65 yards per pop, 6 touchdowns, and he ran for 92 yards on 16 carries and a touchdown last week. But it wasn't enough as the Raiders fumbled the ball 6 times in their loss against Wilkinsburg, and the Tigers are definitely a surprise. Wrap it up for our pregame show this afternoon. It's been brought to you by the Toolworks, a division of Thrift True Value with locations in New Kensington and Katanning. Well, Bob and Joe will be back with the opening kickoff of this one, an Eastern Conference matchup between the Riverview Raiders and the Clairton Bears, right after this.
From Riverside Park in Oakmont this afternoon, it's the Clairton Bears and the Riverview Raiders. Bob Tattern here along with Joe Falsetti and Mike Pavlik, ready to bring you the action here this afternoon. At midfield, the co-captains coming out for the ceremonial toss of the coin. And Joe, after watching in the section, Clairton at 4-0 and the Raiders at 2-2, Riverview sharing a 2-2 spot with another team in the section, but above Riverview are a few others. Clairton, Duquesne, Greensburg Central,
Wilkinsburg,
the team they lost to last week, 12-9.
I think the conference this year, Bob, probably is about as equal as that has been in many, many years, as reflected by some of those, won and lost records of these ball clubs. Looking forward to a salvage. A decent season for most teams, but for them, losing a couple of ball games hasn't happened here for a good while.
Well, Jay Kappa had mentioned that they are probably the only team that has ever beaten Clairton 3 successive years. They'd like to make it number 4 today, but he knows that he's got his work cut out for them because this ball club is faster, he thinks, than Wilkinsburg was last week. So the defense that is certainly
Yeah, the officials for the ball game here this afternoon, the referee is Larry Sukitz. Ray Batko is the umpire. Joe Giagiani is the head linesman. The line judge, Fred Zangaro, and the back judge is Bucky Lucas.
The Raiders in black, and across the way on the far side of the field, the Clairton Bears are addressed in white with a red trim. So that'll give you the battle colors anyway. The Raiders.
Clairton, Bob, as you mentioned, being undefeated, and they got a pretty good throng that are here.
Harris Johnson will be kicking the ball for the Bears.
So Clairton will kick off, and the Raiders will run right to left to start the action here this afternoon. Clairton led by quarterback Terrence. This is one of his many side jobs. He'll kick off this afternoon.
He's quite an athlete, Bob. They call him Slash down around Clairton.
Lucas Heekins, Matt Geppert, and William Anderson are the return men for the Raiders. It's Heekins right down the middle, flanked by Anderson on the far side and Geppert to the near side. And we are underway. The kick sails out of bounds on the far side. So the Raiders have an option. And let's check the Raiders offense here this afternoon. The starters for the Riverview Raiders will include on the left side of center, Charlie Steffi and Sam Glover. The center is Chris McCarthy. On the right side, Rob Pica and Ethan Gigler. The tight end is Steve Sykon. In the back. Dujack at quarterback. The running backs are Lucas Heekins and William Anderson. And the wideouts are Chad Bynum and Matt Geppert. So those are the Raiders starters as Riverview accepts the point where the ball was had gone out of bounds at about the 37th. And so Dujack has the men in black out of the huddle and ready to go. And it's Heekins on the first carry. Cuts inside at the 40, the 45, up around the 48-yard line where he was hit by Dante Sanders. And the Raiders pick up 11 on the first run from scrimmage this afternoon. Let's take another look at the excellent blocking. It's hard and difficult to pick up the number just as we wanted to get it out of there. By the way, it's Jerry Sabatini at center, number 50, instead of the youngster that I had mentioned, Chris McCarthy. Here is Dujack back to throw. He's got Heekins out there, and it's overthrown. Shadowed by Terrence Johnson. Sometimes, Joe, a good call when you're early in the ball game and they're anticipating run for a while.
Well, we did that ball game last night, Bob, and did not see one pass from Catani. Not one.
And
so
all year,
if they say, well, you got to mix it up once in a while to keep them honest, forget it.
Harry Beckwith has another way. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders at their own 48. No score. Let's see what develops here on 2nd for Dujack. He's going to throw again. Good protection. Steps up. He's going to run. He's at the 45, the 40, 35, 30, and inside the 30. Brought down at the 28. Fine tackle made by Justin Webb. And let's take another look. He's looking, and then all of a sudden finds he's got a gaping hole. And picked up, let's see, 22 and 2, 24 in that scamper, roughly. 35. My math is good. Only missed it by 11. Dujack gives to Heekins, sneaking through. Heekins is inside the 20. Has the, well, he might be a yard short. On the tackle was, and they're looking across the way as we watch once again here, the run by Lucas Heekins.
Less than a yard, Bob, to go. 2nd down.
Heekins did some nice running there, and it is 2nd and about a yard. 2nd and about a yard. Geppert in the backfield along with Anderson, and it goes to Anderson, 1st down. Anderson still on his feet and wrestled to the ground by. Also assisting on the tackle, Jerome Ramsey. So a 1st down for the Raiders inside the 15. We'll call it the 15 because a portion of the ball rests on that line. So the Raiders could conceivably pick up a 1st down inside the 5. So the Raiders on the opening drive. Here's Heekins. Heekins left side. Heekins tripped up, run out of bounds by at the 10-yard line. A gain of about 5 in the play. Maybe closer to 4.
And a little more than 5.
2nd down and about 6. First quarter, as we mentioned, we're just underway, and the Raiders have eaten up a good chunk of that first quarter clock already. Ball control. The line block. Fumble, and Dujack falls on the snap. Covering defensively for Clairton was Ryan Hansen. But Dujack very quickly fell on the football at the line of scrimmage. A change, Joe, on that?
Chris Holland was the fellow that, instead of the one that you mentioned.
All right, so we're going to make that change. 3rd and 6 at the 10. He's going to keep it. The fake to Anderson. Dujack keeping, and he's down to about the 5-yard line. He's awfully close to the first down.
Webb and Holland making the stop for the Bears.
Webb and Holland on the tackle.
The first down, but they'll...
The fake to Anderson, and then he follows, and Anderson goes in for one of the blocks and also as a decoy to kind of sucker them in toward the middle. And on that play, as we mentioned, Holland and Webb combine on the tackles. The chains are brought across the field for the measurement. And it appears to be the first down.
Just a bit short.
Just a little short, Bob.
A little short.
Good luck to the Riverview Raiders from Dave and the gang at Recupero's Auto Detailing. Recupero's will wash and wax the vehicle, clean and shampoo the rug as well. Remember the name, Recupero's at 331 Jones Street in Verona. They're right behind Giant Eagle. For quality and professional service, call Recupero's. That phone number, by the way, is 828-9030. 828-9030 for Recupero's. Right here in Verona.
Down in about a foot, Bob.
Fourth. And they have not moved the marker near where it should go, so to some of the fans it looks like it's 4th and 6. Now they do. So here we go, folks, on 4th and inches for Riverview at the enemy 5-yard line or near it. They're stacking over the middle. Here it goes, and up the middle, and for the touchdown is Geppert. Matt Geppert takes it in from 5 yards out, and the Riverview Raiders are on the board. So Matt Geppert with the touchdown. Boy, I think they were anticipating, Joe, the quarterback sneak.
Well, I know one thing. They had a hole that you and I could have run through, Bob.
Simultaneously.
At the same time.
Extra point attempt here by Giggler. Or Earl Belisario, I should say. And Giggler is the holder. The kick by Belisario is good. 7-0 in favor of Riverview, and we'll return with more after this. The Riverview Raiders go 9 plays for the 63 yards, eating up more than half of the first quarter clock. By the way, if you're looking for quality carpeting at the lowest possible price, come to Riverview Carpet in Verona. Riverview Carpet is a member of the so-called Abbey Group. It's an association that buys in volume, so they pass the savings on to you, and you pay less for your carpeting. Family owned and operated, Riverview Carpet and Flooring has been in business for over 25 years. Call them at 828-7847. That's Riverview Carpet. Here's the kick. It's a squibbler, fielded at about the 31. And on the return, the Raiders make the hit defensively near the 41. A fine open field tackle by Mike Laredo. Also there, Garrett Moore on the tackle for the Raiders, and it's marked at the Riverview 41-yard line. So this afternoon, for the first time, the Clairton Bears will have their hands on the football. Quarterback Terrence Johnson, and right after this first play, we'll show you the starting 11 for the offense, and most of them go both ways. Strong side right, Johnson hands off. They're up the middle on the run. Dreer on the carry, and for the Raiders, defensively, Bob Peacock. Gain of about 2 yards. Lucas Heekins also there. Offensively for Clairton, McKenzie, Carter, Butler, Ramsey, Noel, and the tight end Henry Mitchell. Terrence Johnson, the quarterback. The running backs are Dreer and Webb, and the wideouts are Dante Sanders and Kay Turner. 2nd and 8. This time they're in a T formation. Johnson gives to the first man. And up near midfield with the football is Turner. And as the Raiders unpile, we see Lucas Heekins one more time. So now for the Clairton Bears, who are averaging, by the way, 43 points per game, third and about 1.5 yards. Justin Webb goes wide out here to the left side. Terrence Johnson overlooks the Raider defense. He fumbles the football, and the Raiders are going to make the play. And I think the Raiders, well, they almost came up with it. It was Heekins who forced the play on Anderson. They lose a couple of more yards. And Charlie Steffi was also there. And that is a big defensive play early in the ball game for the Raiders.
That play might have forced a punt, Bob. Don't know for sure that Clairton is going to punt, but they're going to need a couple of yards, maybe 2.5 yards. And they are in punt formation.
So Johnson will punt. Backpedaling is Geppert, who scored the Raider touchdown moments ago. Also back is Heekins. And the kick is away. Good coverage. Geppert runs up, fumbles the ball, but he's got it. And he recovers at the 28-yard line. And jumping right on top of him was Henry Mitchell. No penalty flag there. That's just
had he been able
aggressive
to
play. By the way, Geppert, you saw him slapping his helmet. What was I thinking about? You know.
Well, I mean, he had to make a pretty good run up to try and get it. Had he been able to hold on to it, he had a pretty good start and might have been able to gain some good yardage, but he was lucky to get the fumble back.
So it's 3 out on a punt for the Clairton Bears, and the Raiders go to work offensively. Anderson, Geppert, and up the middle it's Geppert. Geppert corralled by Mitchell and Sanders. They'll make the tackle at the 35, so they pick up 7 yards on the play. Also there was Noel for the Bears. So a gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Anderson, Lucas Heekins, and again it's Geppert in the backfield. Heekins up the middle at the 40, the 45, the 50, and down to the Clairton 46-yard line. And finally, the tackle was made by Justin Webb. Now this, if it stays this way, is the real Riverview team. Timeout here, one of the officials.
I think it's Clairton taking a timeout.
Yeah, timeout. We will take a timeout as well. We're in the first quarter. The Riverview Raiders lead in the game. We'll be right back.
It's the most modern car wash in the area. It's Harmer Car Wash near the Turnpike access in Harmer. Your vehicle is cleaned with the soft cloth method, so the surface is kept as smooth as can be. The Hydro Wash takes care of salt and dirt under the chassis. All cars are pressure washed at Harmer Car Wash in Harmerville. Open 7 days a week.
Well, the give goes to Heekins. Heekins comes off the left side. Ramsey and Holland combine on the tackle for Clairton, and the ball is marked at the 44. A gain of about, well,
couple of yards,
yeah,
maybe.
two at the most. 2nd and 8. The Raiders lead on the touchdown of 5 yards, a run by Geppert on a 4th and 5 play. They were looking for 4th and inches, and Geppert winds up with a 5-yard scamper into the end zone untouched. 2 setbacks are Anderson, and he gets
he kept it.
Dujak keeping the football, picking up a good chunk of yardage across the 40 to about the 38-yard line, where he was hit finally by Pete Dreer. 34-yard line is where they have it marked. So 3rd down and roughly 3. For the Raiders, would be nice to open up a 2-touchdown lead here, particularly on a team like Clairton. You know, you got to take as much as you can when you can when you're playing a ball club this good, and they are 6-0, undefeated overall. Dujak hands off. He stumbled when he went over. Loose football. He can have it
down, and he fumbled.
And Clairton has recovered at about the 34-yard line. So Heekins, who had the ball, let's take one more look at it as Heekins gets the call.
Who recovered that fumble?
Looks like number 4 and 5. That's Johnson.
McKenzie's the guy that recovered.
Loose football, and McKenzie recovers for the Clairton Bears. So the ball is marked now at the 33 as Clairton, for the second time of the game, work with the football. The quarterback, as we mentioned, is Terrence Johnson. They're out of the eye, and it goes to the eye back, and not much going there. On the tackle, Steve Sykon. Was that Saunders that carried? Page that carried. We'll see some work of Elliott Page here this afternoon. Page lines up as a wing to the right as the team again goes into the eye. Johnson looking to pass, so he's going to run with the football maybe. They had a hand on him.
Flags everywhere. I think that's gonna go against Clairton.
Page gets up limping for Clairton on this particular play, but again, a couple of flags in the neighborhood of the 30-yard line, and
there's a clip there, Bob, pretty obvious. I think 2 or 3 officials saw the same thing.
And it's Page who is stumbling off to the sideline on the far side of the field. Well, they're stepping off the penalty after the explanation here to the Raiders defensive captain, and that, of course, is Chad Bynan. Also out there to chat is Bob Pica.
Now, it's these kind of plays, Bob, that really can get to you. You give them a 10-yard gain, or would you rather have a 15-yard penalty?
I'd love to hear one of these days, or like to see, when a player just tells refs, just march it off. I don't need the explanation.
Meantime, they bring the ball all the way back to the 15-yard line.
That will make it, boy, second down and roughly 30. Maybe 29.
That's huge, that's for sure.
Second down and 28.
So here is Clairton. The handoff goes to Justin Webb. And for the Raiders, Lucas Heekins, or Josh Walsh rather, makes the stop. Now we're third down. The ball is marked short of the 20 at about the 18. They've got to get up to the 43, so it's 25 to go. Third and 25 after that 3-yard gain. Once again, they're in the eye. Turner and Webb in the eye. It goes to Webb. Webb hit in the backfield, trying to get loose, and he's going to be wrestled to the ground by Sam Glover. Glover makes a great play all the way back to the 16. Watch Glover, how quick. And he diagnoses it, makes the tackle. This guy almost got away at this point.
Well, in 2 different series, Riverview has been able to contain Clairton pretty well.
The ball bounces into the arms, and a beautiful
nice
punt.
kick.
Heekins at the 49 of Riverview. Coming up to his left, straight up the middle. It's Belisario, beg your pardon, on the return. So the Raiders have it in good field position at the Clairton 36-yard line. We'll be right back. Well, the turnover not costly, Joe, as you mentioned during the break here. So the Raiders get it right back, and this is Anderson. Anderson is going to be wrestled to the ground, and I don't know if he got out of bounds or not. It really doesn't matter. But tackled on the play by Johnson. And no gain, maybe a half a yard. We'll still call it the 38 and 2nd and 10.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's quite a crowd here, Bob.
Oh, look at him run, ringed around the rope, standing. Yeah,
that's for sure.
Dujak chased, throws the football to Bynum.
Oh, he got it. What a grab! What a grab by Bynum! Oh my!
Bynum stretched out to make the catch, and for the Raiders, another first down deep in Clairton territory near the 11-yard line, maybe the 12.
You see those kind of catches on Sunday afternoon, Bob. Watch it again. Here we go.
Dujak lays it up there, and Bynum, watch the stretch. Way out there, down to the 12-yard line. First quarter's got to be coming to a close. I don't know what the...
Half a minute.
30 seconds remaining. Dujak steps back. Hands off on the draw to Heekins. Right up the middle. Heekins, loose football.
I think he was down.
Heekins taking the draw. Gets up to about the 6 or 7 yard line. Make it the 7. It is 2nd down and 5. After the ball game for PNC Bank, we will announce our MVP of the game, and it's sponsored by PNC Bank, where performance counts. Dujak taking his time. Geppert and Anderson are the setbacks, and it goes to Geppert. Fumble! Let's see who's calling for it. It is Clairton's football.
Second fumble.
And recovering the football was Jerome Ramsey. And they recovered it right at the line of scrimmage. Let's take another look at the play.
Had no chance there. He got hit the minute he took the handoff.
And you can see the ball popping loose.
Right.
So Clairton takes over here at the tail end of the quarter. And Clairton's ball at their own 7. Well, let's call it the 8. Let's call it the 8-yard line. Clairton at their own 8. Johnson to throw, fires, and it is caught for the first down at the 21-yard line. Making the catch was Dante Saunders. And it's a first down. Defensively, Matt Geppert. We'll be back with more in a moment. $7-0 Riverview after the first quarter of play.
Could have been worse. Riverview with 2 turnovers, 2 fumbles recovered by Clairton.
And the ball is marked at the Clairton 22.
All right, ready to go. Johnson at quarterback, the highly touted youngster, I might add. Back he goes, looking over the middle, and it's caught. And picked over there by Corey Wright, and he's going to be stopped at the 40-yard line. And Bynum made the stop for the Raiders at the 40. Actually, it's across the 40, over closer to the 41. There's the replay. And Johnson hit his man who was wide open, as you see, and he gets hit at the 41. So 1st and 10, Clairton at their own 41-yard line. They trail the Raiders 7-0 here as we start the second quarter. Johnson with a lone setback. They're wide over on the far side. There's a pitch back. They're going right. He gets around the corner okay, still going, and finally run out of bounds. There is a flag on the play, and I think that's going to be either a clip or a hold against the Clairton Bears. The play itself gained about 4 yards, but they're going to bring it back, I'm sure.
I don't know if we can see it on the replay or not, but that's going to set him back.
A clip or spotted the foul, and that's going to really hurt. All right, let's watch it again, see if he can pick up the clip. There, they're going to march it back some more. It's going to go, I think, beyond the 20-yard, well, just near the 21-yard line. So all the way back to the 21. They got to get to the 49
of
Riverview. So that's 29 and 1. They need 30 yards. First and 30 for the Clairton Bears from their own 21-yard line. Johnson at quarterback. They're in the eye this time. Johnson straight back, looking, long pass, and he's going to be incomplete, overthrown, intended over there for Dante Sanders. So the pass falls incomplete. Good coverage over there by Matt Geppert. Second down and 30 for the Bears from their own 21-yard line. Got to remember, this Clairton team is undefeated and ranked in the top 5 Class A teams in Western Pennsylvania. They're a good team, and Riverview in this early portion of the ball game has had the best of it. Oh, Johnson got really hammered in the backfield. 4 black jerseys, and led over there by Ethan Gigler. So Gigler led the onslaught on Johnson there as they drop him for a loss.
Welcome to Riverside Park.
They drop him at the 18, a loss of 3. So it'll be third down and 33. Oh, boy. So the Bears having some problems getting untracked here early in the second quarter. 7-0 Riverview. Johnson is ready now, is in the eye, and they've got a wide out to the near side of the field. Here's Johnson back looking over the middle, and it's incomplete. Incomplete pass intended for number 31, Justin Webb. So that'll bring up a 4th down, and the Raiders should have decent field position here. Well, they had a couple of drives that well, they lost the football on fumbles. Clairton recovered on both occasions. And Johnson, the do-everything quarterback, they like to refer to him as Slash. He does so many things. He'll be back and standing at about his own 6-yard line to punt this football. He gets it, gets the kick away, and it's going to hit and roll and go out of bounds somewhere around the 50. Let's see where they spot it. Right at the 50-yard line is where they'll put the ball in play. So it'll be the Raiders football at the 50-yard line.
Some NFL football comes your way on Comcast Cablevision Sunday. You can watch either the Green Bay-Chicago game or the Tampa Bay game on Channel 53 Sunday afternoon at 1 on Comcast Cable, Channel 53.
All right, ready to go. The Raiders with the football at the 50. They lead 7-0 early in the second quarter. Set to go is Dujak. And Dujak keeps, rolls right, keeps the football. Dujak still going at the 40, still going 35 down to the 33-yard line. 17-yard gain for Justin Dujak on that good option. He held on to it and picked up good yardage all the way down to the 33-yard line. Stopped over there by Terrence Johnson. Let's watch this one again. It's one of those goodies that you'd like to see a couple of times. There's Dujak faking the pitch out. Still going as he crossed the 40, gets across the 35, down to the 33-yard line. First and 10. The Raiders at the Clairton 33. This split backs this time as Dujak is right. Hands off, and Heekins fights his way across the 30 to about the 28-yard line. Stopped by Jerome Ramsey. So a decent gain that time for Heekins of nearly 5 yards. Let's call it second down and 5. The ball inside the Clairton 28-yard line. The Raiders must continue to win and hope for a little help somewhere. And maybe, just maybe, they might find a playoff slot at the end of the rainbow. But, well, they, as I say, they need to win the balance of their games and get some help. All right, Dujak ready. Split backs once again. Here is a handoff. Anderson gets inside the 25-yard line. It's going to be about a yard short of the first down. McKenzie and Carter on the stop. Josh Finnegan also there helping out, and they'll spot the football at the 25, so he's going to need a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd and 2, 4-down territory, I'm sure, for the Raiders. Ball at the Clairton 25-yard line. 3rd and 2. Geppert and Anderson in the backfield. Dujak hands off. No, he keeps. Dujak fighting, breaks away, and gets the first down. I believe if they give him the forward progress, he's going to be awfully close to the first down. Well, they didn't give him as much as he got. He broke away and was run out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. They didn't give him that progress. He's going to be about almost a yard short of the first down.
Joe, good coverage from the end zone cameras. You watch him break away from the tackle.
Well, they must have been an early whistle, Bob, because he looked as though he had the first down as he was run out of bounds, but evidently the whistle blew before that, and it's going to be 4th and 1 for the Raiders. 4th and 1. Again, split backs. Geppert and Anderson in the backfield. Dujak keeps. Dujak's got the first down near the 20. Dujak on the keeper gets the first down. Carter led the defensive hit there for the Clairton Bears, and Josh Finnegan also helping out. So it'll be first down for the Raiders at the 20-yard line of Clairton.
I hope they get a handle on that football, Joe. The Raiders have fumbled twice in the first half here, once on the Clairton 38 and the other one on the 7 that led to this situation here.
All right, ready to go as they split the backs once again. Heekins is in there now. Here is into the end zone and tipped and almost intercepted. Boy, they had coverage back there. 31 was there. Webb, number 4, Dante Saunders also there. And the pass intended for Bynum. Chad Bynum was back there, but he was pretty well covered. The pass was broken up, and, well, it could have been intercepted, in all honesty. The ball now is at the 21-yard line, where the Raiders will have it 2nd down and 10. Geppert split wide along with Bynum. Split backs, Anderson and Heekins. And here is a pass. Oh, good grab over there by Anderson. He is hit and is going to get down to the 5-yard line. How about that? Anderson at the 5-yard line.
Watch the replay.
Oh, this is worth watching again as he goes head over heels. And when he lands, he's at the 5.
From the end zone, no less. This is pretty. He was hit as he released the ball.
Took it right there, and now he starts, and he's going to get here. And there he goes, and when he lands, he's at the 5-yard line. So first and goal.
And the reaction by Tobias Johnson was, I don't believe this.
All right, the Raiders, first and goal at the 5. Dujak. Barking signals. Dujak hands off to Heekins. Heekins cuts inside and into the end zone. Touchdown. Lucas Heekins picks up the 5 yards and gets into the end zone for the score. And the Raiders 13-0. That in itself doesn't mean much, but when you're doing it against the #1 team in the conference, Clairton, who is undefeated and highly ranked, you're doing something a little special. Belisario is going to be the guy kicking here, the extra point. Ethan Gigler holding. Good snap. Good kick. And it is good. So the Raiders 14-0. A little bit of a surprise, don't you think, Bob?
Yes, indeed. We'll be back with more at Riverside Park. Eight plays, 50 yards in 4 minutes plus. Second Raider touchdown. The first scored by Geppert, and now Heekins. So, Joe, you got to know that Clairton is not finished. Here's a team that averages 43 points a game.
I was going to say, Bob, don't think for 1 minute that Clairton has thrown in the towel. Hardly. They're not ranked the way they are, and with an undefeated record, falling behind, particularly as you mentioned, scoring 43 points a game. A scribbler that's going to be taken, and on the knee with the football at the 40-yard line was Chris Butler. So it'll be Clairton in possession from their own 40. They'll start this series trailing 14-0. Can't tell you how much time is left. The sun is right on that scoreboard, and it's pretty hard to tell. Well, we've got Eagle Eye Milo here. That's at 6.
Don't forget.
He didn't say 6.5. He said 6:31.
He's half our age.
Half your age, Bob. Here we go. A handoff, and going through it, getting decent yardage was Tyrus Wright. And he gets up near the 45-yard line. A gain of about 5 on the play. Bob Pica on the stop for the Raiders. So the Bears pick up 5 yards on that carry. 2nd and 5. Johnson. Johnson on the keeper off the right side. Johnson still has it. Johnson down the sideline. He may go. There goes Johnson. He's got it. Touchdown. So Terrence Johnson goes 55 yards for the touchdown, which puts the Clairton Bears on the board. Well, we just got done saying this game is far from over, and that right there is an indication of why this team is ranked as high as they are and undefeated in the conference.
Well, Joe, they had a couple of players that actually fell down on the play, and gosh.
Well,
all right, so it's 14-6.
14-6, and the extra point try coming here, and the do-everything guy, Terrence Johnson, trying the extra point. Kick is up. Looks good, and it is 14-7. The Raiders, and boy, I'll tell you what.
It's going to tighten up maybe even more here. After the ball game today, the PNC Bank MVP to be announced here by the crack Comcast Sports staff.
Where are they?
Sponsored by PNC Bank, where performance counts. We have collected over these 7 weeks that we've been doing this now, probably about 10 or 11 kids who have done rather well, including a couple here in the Riverview team.
Extremely well, in fact. Sure.
So it's 14-7.
There are players, Bob, that you watch week after week that can get stopped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, but you just know that sooner or later when they get the opportunity or get a little bit of an opening, it could be curtains, and that's exactly what it was there with Terrence Johnson. Boy, the minute he hit that outside, he was gone.
55 yards.
So the kick coming up now as Heekins and Geppert are back deep for the Raiders. And Terrence Johnson, is there anything this guy doesn't do? I'll tell you what,
well, he kicked
it's
off.
It's hard to say everything he does. Maybe we're better asking, what doesn't he do? Boy. And here he goes, high. It's going to be taken by Anderson at the 5-yard line. Anderson still on his feet, fumbles, and I think the Raiders have it. No, it's going to be the Bears, I believe, with it. Yes, Clairton has recovered.
Boy, they hit him hard, that's for sure.
And if they did, that'll be the 3rd fumble recovery by Clairton. They got it. And number 60. Rosser is the guy that got that one. Oh, brother. Well.
Yeah, Chris Holland is wearing.
Now is going to be in position to tie this thing or maybe even go ahead with a 2-point conversion. Ball at the 25-yard line. So Clairton in possession now from the Riverview 25. And suddenly, the complexion of this game has really changed. Here is Anderson handing off on a cutback play and not getting very much. Here was Elliott Page, who had limped off the field not too long ago, but he's back in again. He doesn't get much that time. They'll drop him right at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. The ball at the 25. So right now it seems that the Raiders of Riverview are their own worst enemy. 3 fumbles here in the first half.
And they've lost them all.
All right, ready to go.
No, I'm sorry. They lost those. How about the others they've recovered? They've not just fumbled 3 times. They fumbled more.
They did. All right, here's Johnson, and he gets it out there to number 31 for Clairton, which is Justin Webb, and he is going to be dropped.
And Webb is complaining of a spearing call. Yeah.
Made the stop, and I think they stopped him right at the line of scrimmage. And if that be the case, it'll be 3rd down and 10 still from the 25-yard line.
Now, what is the official over there blowing? You know what? If there's a replay, somebody just mentioned there was a possibility that water had been thrown on the official.
Well, maybe that's why he got his shorts on, Bob.
All right, take another look at what happens on the far side.
Well, see what's going on, Bob. I know the referee there is bringing the police on, and the referee is pointing at somebody over there with the crowd standing along the ropes, because there is a big crowd here, and I think they may want someone ejected.
Well, if they
I think the referee is indicating an ejection.
Oh, there it is. Roll it right back. We got the guy.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I didn't know that we cared.
Watch right here. You'll see. All right, they're going to roll it again.
All right, here we go. 3rd down and 10. This could be 4-down territory anyway, but right now it's 3rd down from the Raider 25-yard line. Johnson fakes. Johnson keeps. Johnson is grabbed, but he gets away. He's going to throw a long pass into the end zone, and it's caught in the end zone. Oh, brother. Geppert was back there. He had position, but he couldn't quite get up high enough to tip the ball away, and it's caught. And it's 14-13 with the extra point try coming up. Oh, brother, how quickly things change. So Johnson getting set for the extra point, which would tie the game. There's the kick. It's up, and I think it's wide. It is. It goes wide right, and the score remains Riverview 14, Clairton 13, and we'll be back with more high school football right after this.
Getting closer, Joe. I'm going to show you the replay where the referee was doused with water on the far side of the field. If it means anything, now watch. See where there it is right there. Whatever it was that was thrown at him was loaded with water. But they, just to fulfill the reporting on that, Joe, they did catch the culprit, and he was escorted out of the stadium.
Well, he should be. 4:07 remaining in the second quarter. 14-13. The Raiders on top, and boy, they have been their own worst enemy. And Johnson with his Clairton Bears have taken advantage of those fumbles. They just put their second touchdown on the board. High kick. Geppert is going to take it at the 2-yard line. Now he fumbles it, and he's going to stay right in the end zone. And they'll bring it out to the 20. So the touchback will bring the ball out to the 20-yard line, where the Raiders will put it in play. 14-13, Riverview by 1. So for the benefit of you people watching the ball game in high school football, once the kickoff goes into the end zone, there's no such thing as running it out. It's automatic. It comes out to the 20. All right, ready? Dujack in the eye. Heekins, the tailback. Heekins gets the handoff. Heekins around the left side. He's going to be hit. Turner was there. So there's no gain on that play. There seems to be a flag. Yeah, there is a flag out there. Let's get the indication. Against Riverview. Motion penalty. It may be declined. Let's wait and see.
We had illegal motion.
Yeah, they're going to march off 5 yards.
Repeat first down.
Look, after all this time, the official found the mic switch. We haven't heard from him for the first part of the ball game.
I think he was trying to avoid that water.
Maybe the water shorted it out.
So it's 1st and 15 now from the 15-yard line. Dujack. Draw, and it doesn't get much. Noel was there for the Clairton Bears. Lose a couple of yards on that play, so it'll be 2nd down and about 17. Ball spotted at the 13-yard line. Tell you what, this quarter can't run out of time fast enough for the Raiders, Bob. They have just done absolutely nothing. They're their own worst enemy here in the second quarter. They were able to move the football quite well. Man, they would fumble on the last 3 or 4 possessions, and flags all over the place, whistles everywhere. So Riverview has lost.
We had dead ball. False start. Riverview. Repeat 2nd down.
So they'll march off another 5 yards, and the ball now is going to be at about the 8 or 9 yard line. They got to get to the 30, so they're looking at about a 22 or 23 yards needed to hold on to the football. 2nd down and about 13. Dujack under center. Dujack is going to keep it. Pitches back, and here comes Heekins. Heekins at the 25 to 30, 35, 40. Heekins down the sideline, and he goes all the way down. Where do they run him out of bounds? At about the 48-yard line. What a run by Heekins. Run out of bounds by Chris Holland. But Heekins took that pitch from Dujack and got all the way up to the 48-yard line. What a run. Let's watch this one. Worth watching. Here is Dujak, and he's forced to pitch. He does, and here comes Heekins down the near sideline.
Well, Chad Bynan had a nice block in there, too.
And Heekins finally is going to be run out of bounds. So a timeout is taken there with Rosser, I believe that is, Bob, number 60 for Clairton. Yeah, here he is. It's
yeah, they got him down. It's 58.
Right. It is Rosser, and he is hurt. So Rosser, the injured player for Clairton, but Heekins on a big first down play here with time running down in the first half. Couple of minutes left.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a break while we have an opportunity here, Joe. So we'll be right back.
Well, Rosser was helped off the field, and from the way it looked going out, I don't think he'll be back, and if he doesn't come back, it's going to hurt the Bears. He's been very active defensively for the Bears, but here we go. 2:34 left in the first half. The Raiders from their own 48-yard line. 1st and 10. In the eye. Dujak fakes. Dujak is good. Oh, he's got a man all alone. There's Keppert. What? Oh, he had it and dropped it. Oh, my goodness. Well, Geppert was so alone, you wonder what happened.
And the defensive backs are saying, whose man was that? There are 3 of them gathered to say, what happened? Look at it here, Joe.
He was so alone, it's unreal. And Dujak did everything that he could to get away from that rushing lineman. It looked like Geppert had it and hit the ground and lost it. Oh, what an opportunity that was for the Raiders. All right, here we go. 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 48. Dujak back again. Geppert back again, and no good. Incomplete. This time there was double coverage back there.
That's to make up for the last play.
So the pass is incomplete as they tried the same play again. The first time, no one back there. This time, double coverage.
Well,
so 3rd down.
The guess here, Joe, would be that draw to Heekins. So see what develops.
All right, Sammy, whatever you say. Ball I was referring to, since you're the quarterback. That's good.
Slinging Sammy. Huh?
All right, we go again here as Dujak needs 10 yards. Here's Dujak. Dujak he's got the first down across the 40 to the 39-yard line. Make it the 37. Oh, my. Dujak on that keeper has done a number to the Clairton Bears here as he picks up a big first down, a gain of about 13 yards on that carry. So the ball at the 37-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
Joe, there's about 2 minutes left of the half, so they want to get a possible score in here.
The clock is moving as 1:53 and counting. Now they shift out of the eye, double setback, Anderson and Lucas. Here's Dujak looking. Dujak is going to run. He's going to keep it, and he's going to be hit and dropped at about the 32 or 33. Jerome Ramsey, the principal tackler for the Clairton Bears. And the clock is moving. Ball at the make it the 34-yard line is where they'll spot the football. They're approaching a minute 10 here in the first half. 14-13. Riverview on top. Dujak taking his time, and here is Dujak, and there's the whistle. I think Pedley's going to go against This one looks as though it'll go against the Bears. I should say the Raiders.
We have dead ball, false start, Riverview. Second down.
Dr. Bob, I didn't think he'd be walking for a while, and here he is back out on the field. They'll bring the ball back to the 39-yard line.
You're talking about Rosser.
Rosser, he's back out there. All right, ready once again. Dujak is set. Back. Oh, what a rush. Here's Dujak looking, throwing. Biden almost had it. There's a flag. A flag is going to go against the Clairton Bears. Well, if we see this one again, Bob, he was all over the back of Chad Biden, number 33 for Clairton. Pete Dreer is the guy that's going to be called for the infraction.
Oh, here's the replay.
Let's watch it here on the replay, and I believe he's all over him. Let's see here.
Oh, sure he is.
Yes, he. So they march off the penalty against Clairton and put the ball down at the 24-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Raiders. All right, here we go. Geppert split wide to the near side of the field. Dujak on the draw play to Heekins. Heekins is grabbed and dropped. And that is number 60.
That's Rosser.
I think that's Rosser. That's the guy that limped off the field here just a little bit ago.
Penalty flag and an injury,
flag
Joe.
on the play. Could it be a face mask?
Well, the youngster
foul against the Bears.
Bob Pica is coming off the field.
So a personal foul penalty against the Clairton Bears. They had that play stopped cold. Boy, I wish I could see how much time is left here in the first half.
30 seconds remaining.
Half a minute remaining here in the first half. And they'll march the ball all the way down to the 12-yard line. That was half the distance from the 24. They'll march off 12 yards and spot the ball at the 12-yard line. So we go now with the clock moving and the Raiders ready. Anderson and Heekins, the split backs. And here's a flag. It's going to go against the Raiders. There's Bynum into the end zone. Touchdown, but I don't think it's going to count. I think they're going to call this one back. The penalty is going to go against the Raiders. I do believe. Yep, it'll go against the Raiders. They'll bring this one back. So they lost a touchdown there on a penalty.
Penalty goes against the Raiders.
So they'll march off the penalty with 14 seconds left.
So I think the indication they were giving on time was 14 seconds left in the half.
All right, so they're going to take a timeout now as the Raiders will take it. 14 seconds, as we mentioned, remaining in the first half.
The cheerleaders would like to thank
Well, that penalty cost the Raiders a touchdown. I don't know that it actually prevented. What was the call anyway, Joe? What
Motion. So the Raiders, in the first half, Bob, have really been their own worst enemy. They have fumbled 4 or 5 times. They lost 3 of them. One of them at the 7-yard line. Another one at about the 35 or 38. And Clairton on 3 different occasions have recovered Riverview fumbles. And they have fought their way back from a 14-0 deficit that could have been worse. So now it's 14-13. Riverview just lost a touchdown here on a motion penalty. So we've got 14 seconds left. Riverview at the 12-yard line of Clairton. So here we go. Gephardt split wide to the near side. Bynum on the wing to the right side. Here is Dujak rolling, pitches back. And Heekins is going. Heekins is going to be hit and dropped inside the 10-yard line. And a timeout is called by the Raiders. Just a few seconds remaining. 4 to be, I think the scoreboard clock shows 4 seconds. And the Raiders will call a timeout. And I don't know.
They picked up 8 yards to the 10. Do they go for 3 or what do they do?
They're actually at the 9 here, I think. Well, just inside the 10-yard line. They lead by 1. You throw one into the end zone, or do you try a field goal?
All on the 10, second down.
Well, 10 and 17 plus the other, you know, that would be a what, 27-yarder?
Kick, yeah. Well, it looks like Belisario has the leg for it. Now, whether or not they tried is something else again.
Well, the NFL football comes to Comcast Cablevision over the weekend. We'll have a Sunday game, yeah. Green Bay and Chicago is one possibility, and the other is if that game is not on, it'll be the Tampa Bay game, whoever they're playing. So it's one or the other tomorrow at 1, Sunday, I should say, at 1 o'clock on Comcast Cable Channel 53. And that is because the Steelers are playing Sunday night on TNT.
All right, here we go. They're going for it. 4 seconds left. Just one play, I think, would end the half. Here's Dujak back. Look, he's got a man out there. It's complete to Overton. Touchdown. What a call by Jake Castle. Oh, my. So, Dujak on the final play of the half spots Anderson in the end zone for the touchdown. Let's watch this one again. You mean this team's not going to make the playoffs?
Well,
I can't believe it.
From the end zone, boy. Now that atones for the pass that Gephardt dropped earlier. And the one thing it did do, it took Clairton away from an offensive possession by doing it this way.
All right. Here we go with Belisario now trying the extra point. Ethan Gigler on the hold. As the half has ended, this is obviously the last play in the half. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So Belisario kicks it, makes it 21-13 in favor of the Raiders.
Halftime it is. 21-13. The Riverview Raiders are in the lead, and right now the Raider band is on the field. And it is homecoming day. Let's go downfield.
Last year's homecoming queen, Kristen Rokini, is presently attending West Virginia University and is majoring in elementary education. Kristen's escort is Ryan Campbell. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big hand for Kristen Rokini, last year's homecoming queen. Now, of the 1997 homecoming court. Kristen Brown, the daughter of Cheryl and Reed Brown, escorted by Gino Smith. School activities are volleyball 9 through 12, captain 12. Basketball 9 through 12, captain 12. Softball 9 through 12, captain 12. Tea Club 9 through 12, president 11 and 12. Student council, vice president 11. Mock trial team 8 through 12, captain 12. National Honor Society 11th and 12th. Orchestra 4 through 12. Junior and senior class committee. The Voice of the Raiders 9 through 12. Feeding the Homeless 9 through 12. Spending time with friends and family, eating, and playing tackle football on Sundays with the girls. Future educational plans are attending a four-year college, possibly Robert Morris or Westminster, and majoring in broadcast communications. The next candidate is Erica Friday, daughter of Patty and Paul Friday, escorted by Bob and Dexter. School activities are Key Club 9 through 12, Vice President 11th and 12th. Student Council Executive Board 9 through 12. National Honor Society 11 and 12, President 12. G Club 9 through 12, Vice President 11 and 12. Volleyball 9 through 12. Spring Musical 7 through 12. Swarthmore Book Award for Achievement in English and Art. Poetry and Screenwriting Apprenticeship. Riverview Poetry Workshop 10 through 12. Interests and hobbies are writing, poetry, running, and spending time with special people, especially her grandma. Future educational plans, she hopes to attend either Duke or Northwestern University to study English and running and track. Our next candidate is Joy Graham, daughter of Robert and Jerry Graham, escorted by Aaron Forensic. School activities are French Club 9 through 12, Powder Puff Football 12, Student Council 9 through 12, Junior Class Vice President, Senior Class Committee, Comcast 12, Page and Harrisburg 11, Yearbook 11. Her interests are having fun with her friends and family, and working with Comcast cable television. Her future plans are to attend a four-year college and major in communications. Our next candidate is Leah Krakauer, daughter of Dennis and Kimberly Krakauer, escorted by John Starkey. School activities are varsity wrestling stack 9 through 12. Basketball statistician 9. Varsity baseball statistician 9 through 10. Varsity cheerleading 9 through 12. Traveler Soccer 9 and 10. Spanish Club 9. Biology Club 12. Future Business Leader of America 11. Key Club 9. Powder Puff Football 12. Tutor 9 through 10. Her hobbies are eating, cheerleading, shopping, and spending time with her friends and family. Future educational plans are to attend a four-year college and major in psychology. The next candidate is Allison Owens, daughter of Jen and Greg Owens, escorted by Dan Ray. Her school activities are track 9 through 12, captain 11 and 12. Cross country 10 through 12, captain 11 and 12. Junior Class Secretary. Senior Class Secretary. Tea Club 9, 11, and 12. National Honor Society 11 and 12. Ski Club 10 through 12. Tutor 11. Color Puff Football 12. French Club 9 and 10 and 12. Her interests are spending time with her friends and family. Her educational plans are to attend a four-year college. The next candidate is Julie Waco, daughter of Greg and Karen Waco, escorted by Nick Bonarotti. The school activities are cheerleading 9 and 10, track 10, basketball 11 and 12, baseball statistician 11, treasurer of junior class committee, treasurer of senior class committee, biology club and student council 11. Her interests are spending time with her friends and family and shopping. Her educational plans are to attend a four-year college and major in criminal psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, the crown and flowers attendant are, for the Queen, are Caitlin and Christopher Kumar, son and daughter of Mr. and Mrs. J. Kumar of Oakmont. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for the 1997 homecoming court. And the 1997 homecoming queen is Kristen Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have two children.
So the homecoming queen for this year is Kristen Nicole Brown, the daughter of Cheryl and Reege Brown of Oakmont Avenue in Oakmont. Congratulations to her. The so-called voice of the Raiders, grades 9 through 12. So we wish her the best of luck, possibly an attendee at Robert Moore's or Westminster, and plans to major in broadcast communications. But Joe and I have no worry, because by the time she graduates in another 4 years, both of us will probably be history. So we'll be back with the third quarter kickoff right after this. It's at halftime right now, 21-13, Riverview in the lead. Halftime stats now brought to you by Jimmy G's Restaurant in Aspinwall. Year after year, Jimmy G's is voted by Pittsburgh Magazine as one of the best restaurants in the Pittsburgh area. Here's Mike Pavlik with a look at the first half.
Okay, Bob, thanks a lot, and welcome to this afternoon's Jimmy G's halftime statistics. As we see, Riverview is clearly out in front in the first down category, 15-4. They have outrushed Clairton 204 to only 13. The passing, Clairton 3 out of 5, Riverview 2 out of 6. That's pretty even. 33 for the Bears, 42 for the Raiders, 246 total yards for Riverview, 46 for Clairton. Penalties, Clairton has 4 for 45 and 4 for 20 for Riverview. Turnovers, Riverview with 3, Clairton nothing. That's the only thing keeping the ball game close up to this point. Individually, we'll start on the Raiders side of the ball. Justin Dujak is 2 out of 6 passing for 42 yards, but his biggie today is he's run the ball 9 times for 75 yards. Lucas Heekins, 12 carries, 111 yards. Matt Geppert, 3 carries for 11, and Will Anderson has 7 yards on 3 carries. Receiving for the Raiders, Chad Bynan caught 1 for 26, and Will Anderson caught 1 for 16. For the Clairton Bears, Terrence Johnson is 3 for 5 passing, 33 yards. He's been sacked twice by the Raiders. Rushing, it's puny, folks. Ray Turner, 1 for 6 yards. Elliot Page, 2 for 3 yards. Pete Trier, 1 for 2 yards. And Justin Webb, 2 tries for 1 yard. Not much there for the Clairton Bears. All right, we can take a look at the halftime highlights now. And it was the Raiders out in front early. And we'll take a look at it right there at 8:13 of the first quarter. There's Matt Geppert going in for a touchdown, a 5-yard run. Earl Belisario kicked the extra point, and the Raiders led it 7-0. And now here's the pass from Dujak to Anderson. Look at this leap as he gets inside the 5 and goes head over heels, takes the ball down to the 5-yard line. It's where they spotted it, and Lucas Heekins swept, made the nice cut, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. The kick was good, and the Raiders had jumped out to a big 14-0 early lead. But then the Terrence Johnson show. Watch this on the option. Sprints outside to the right, and look at him go. 55 yards. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown. Johnson himself added the kick, and it was 14-7 Raiders. And after a turnover, the Clairton Bears scored another touchdown as Johnson goes back to throw. Eludes the rush there with some great maneuvers and just heaves it deep into the end zone. Look at Dante Sanders climb the ladder, pull it down for a touchdown. The kick by Johnson was wide, and the Raiders held on to the 14-13 lead. And then just before the half, last play of the half, Dujak finds William Anderson in the end zone for the touchdown. Earl Belisario added the kick. William Anderson's a happy camper, and the Raiders lead it 21-13 at the half here at Riverside Park. Bob?
Mike, not to take away from the 55-yard run by the quarterback, but you know, you look at those total yards rushing, so they must have had lots of losses in yardage.
So at halftime here at Riverside Park, the Raiders leading it 21-13, hoping to hold on. They can get themselves back into the playoff race if they can hang on and win this one. Bob?
Jimmy G's Restaurant at Aspinwall, pleased to be a part of the Comcast lineup of high school football sponsors this year. And of course, that includes another trip here at halftime for the halftime statistics. Next time you're looking for someplace special to dine, make it over to Jimmy G's. And thanks to the Expressway, Jimmy G's is only a short hop from anywhere in the AK Valley. Find out why Jimmy G's has such a loyal customer base and why they are among the top restaurants in the Pittsburgh area. You bring the company, Jimmy G's has the great food and generous portions of it. Jimmy G's at Commercial Avenue in Aspinwall. That's where they're located. Back with the third quarter kickoff right after this. It's an 8-point difference. The Raiders 21-13. They scored as the half concluded and added the extra point. Otherwise, they have lost 3 fumbles.
Justin Webb, deep for the Bears.
Webb, the deep man here for Clairton's Bears as the Raiders kick off. So Earl Belisario kicking off, and there's a whistle.
There's a flag on the play.
5-yard penalty will assess the kickoff back to the 35. They were apparently over, or the official pointing at something else on the field. Yup, it's against Riverview.
5 yards marched off. It will kick off from the 35 now.
So the Raiders will kick off from the 35-yard line. The kicking tee is again being set up here by Belisario. So the Raiders kick off from their 35. And again, Webb the deep man. Justin Webb, number 31, straight down the middle of the field. This one sails down to about the 20. Picked up at about the 15 by Webb. Webb first hit by Geppert and then wrestled to the ground short of the 30. And Mike Laurito, number 4, makes the tackle for the Raiders.
Ball on the 29, first down Bears.
Clairton's Bears, led by Terrence Anderson on the field. What'd they say?
Anderson.
Thank you. It is Terrence Johnson. Straight T formation, strong side left. And they're going left. And with the football is Ray Turner. Turner, short gain, wrestled to the ground by Ethan Giggler. And also there was Sam Glover.
3-yard pickup. We'll call it second.
Gain of 3 on the play from the 24 to about the 27. I'm sorry, from the 29 to about the 32. Again, their strong side to the left. And the give this time goes to Justin Webb. Webb hit at about the 33 or 34-yard line. So a couple of more yards makes it now 3rd and 5. Charlie Stuffy led the defensive charge for the Raiders. So on 3rd down and 5, hopefully the Raiders can hold here. Johnson to throw, almost picked off. But this is going to turn into a first down here. The Raiders, Rob Pica, jumped high into the air and almost had it. But the completion of the pass will bring it near the 50. Good play by Pica, but watch it right here. Right here, almost had it. And tipped right into the hands of the receiver. And it is a first down for the Bears over the 45-yard line. From the I formation. A fake, quarterback keeper, and held on to by Mark Catullo. Catullo makes the hit behind the line of scrimmage and a loss on the play. Well, Steve Sykon made the tackle. I had it down as Mark Catullo. So a loss on the play of a yard. 2nd and 11. The rush is on. Johnson throws, and this one should be incomplete. But Turner makes the grab. 1 foot in. 1 foot in is all he needed. And it is in all probability a first down for the Clairton Bears. Nice high leaping grab by Ray Turner. Checking from our near sideline camera. Johnson pursued by the Raiders' Bob Pica, but gets the pass away, and 1 foot in was all he needed. At the Raider 43 for the first down. 8-point lead by Riverview here in the early going of the 3rd quarter. Pitch out. Webb with a football. Webb wrestled to the ground by Giggler. Ethan Giggler makes the hit. He may have gotten a yard of the play, if that. And we'll call it 2nd and 9.
Less than a yard. We'll call it 2nd and 10.
Bruce got to be different, huh? Second down for the Bears. Keep your eye on Sanders to the right. Geppert will pick him up defensively. Here's an option, the pitch back. And Heekins is going to bring him down.
What a play.
Heekins brings down Pete Dreher. Forward progress marked at midfield, but a loss on the play of about 6 yards. Boy, watch Heekins come through.
3rd down and 15.
So right on the nose of the 50-yard line, 3rd and 16.
3rd down and 16.
Fumble. Well, the Raiders had it momentarily. The Raiders had it oh so briefly. And Clairton has recovered. It was Dujak and Gilbert that were there in the vicinity of the fumble. 4th and 15, or 4th and 16 rather, coming up here for Clairton at midfield. So here's Johnson. Inside his 40. High kick, it is short. And Geppert is going to let it roll, and it's going to take a Clairton bounce to about the 17. We'll be back in a moment. 8-point Raider lead. Penalty.
Against Clairton.
We had a personal foul during the kick.
Personal foul.
Personal foul is going to be a major penalty against
15 yards.
Clairton here.
And a major walk-off. It's all the way back to the 37. 4th down.
So that brings the football all the way back to the 37. So it's 4th and 30 for Clairton. So Belisario is back with Geppert for the punt. (21-13), Riverview in the lead. Big ball game here for. There's a timeout. Well, we have a timeout, so we'll remind you after the game our heads go together and we pick a PNC Bank MVP.
Timeout.
And that, of course, sponsored by PNC Bank, where performance counts. Next week, it will be Highlands and Burrell. And I'm trying to remember, is that at Burrell? Yeah, that's at Burrell. That's the Burrell Field.
Homecoming for Burrell next week, Bob.
Friday night, the action starts on Channel 3 at 9 p.m. and a Saturday morning replay at 10 o'clock. By the way, if you're watching this game on a Saturday evening, the Deer Lakes and Ford City game will follow as part of a Saturday night high school football doubleheader. Last time we covered Ford City, Mitch Farrat was quarterbacking the team. The punt all over again. This is a winner. Belisario takes. Belisario at the 30.
Belisario bringing the ball back
Samuels
to the 30.
on the tackle along with Wright.
Holland, Wright, and Samuels making the stop.
And the ball is marked near the 30, so that's a 13-yard pickup, Joe, on the penalty.
Right.
The Raiders on their own 30, first down and 10. Let's hope they hold on to the ball. So Dujak with Anderson carrying the football, may have gotten a yard or so before the linebackers check in.
Anderson carrying the ball.
Leading the tackle was JaVale McKenzie. Johnson was also there. And that's
Making the stop.
number 44, Tobias Johnson. Gain of a yard, I'm sorry, 2 yards to the 32, second and 8. Dujak with a quarterback keeper, and a nice tackle made by Keith Knoll as he tried to sweep the left side. No gain on the play, 3rd and 8.
Third down and 8.
The Raiders with 3rd and 8. We're midway through this third quarter. 21-13, Riverview in the lead. Dujak looking to throw, fires the pass, and it is caught near the 35 by Heekins, and Heekins was hit immediately on the play by Tobias Johnson. So to bring up 4th and 5 for the Raiders. So they were well covered and had to go for the short one. Back for the punt are Webb and Greer.
Prepares to receive the punt of
And Belisario is back to punt. Standing inside his 25. Nice high kick. It will bounce and be taken at about the 30. And across the field, brought down short of the 50. I believe on the tackle was Ethan Gigler. And Clairton will have the ball at their own 44-yard line. About 3:38 remaining in this third quarter. Terrence Johnson throws a short pass. It goes incomplete to Dante Saunders.
Dante Saunders got underthrown. Second down.
The ball is marked at the 44, 2nd and 10. Riverview scored on the very first possession after taking the opening kickoff and kind of set the tone for the early part of the ball game. They scored again in the second quarter, or was it late first, made it 14-0. And then suddenly the Bears came back with a couple of TDs, and then the Raiders scored right as the half ended. Tailback getting the ball. Webb hit behind the line of scrimmage.
Stopped by a host of Raiders on the right side of the line.
Principal tackler on the play was Dujak. Also there was Gilbert. Third and about 11.
Third down and 10.
Well, the sticks stay pretty close to the original line of scrimmage. So I guess it is 3rd down and 10. Saunders, so wide to the right. And picked up by Matt Geppert. He has the football and is going to make the first down by the nose of the football.
Jack and Geppert on the tackle.
Found a way to get in the open, and it is a Clairton first down.
To a first down for the Bears.
Take another look at how this youngster, number 4, Sanders, gets open.
46 now.
Now, if they would have been able to make the tackle right there, but he struggles and gets the first down. Anderson to throw, batted down by Sam Glover.
Sam Glover blocked that pass, knocked it down.
You know, that's a hard technique to coach, Joe. You know that?
Well, first of all, first thing that they teach is to get the arms up. Once you make any kind of penetration, get the arms up.
He only takes about a step or two back. 1, 2, and bingo, there it goes. Back to live action as we come up on the close of the third quarter. 2nd and 10. Well, the rush is on. Terrence Johnson trying to get rid of the football, goes deep.
It's going to be intercepted. Almost.
Triple coverage by the Raiders. Bynum is there, along with Mike Laredo, and Heekins. So 4th and 10.
Johnson did get away from a lot of black jerseys, Bob, to avoid a long and big loss. Did manage to get the pass off, however, it was incomplete.
3rd and 10. I thought it was 4th. 3rd and 10 coming up. I was hoping it was 4th. They have Sanders again here to the right. He has been a nemesis here for the Raiders defense, particularly the pass defense. There he is over the middle. This one is off target by Johnson. So now it is 4th and 10. I think they're going to go for it, Joe.
I don't know. You're only down by 1 touchdown. The 2-point conversion ties the game. Why would you want to go 4th down on and 10?
Well, the punting unit is in.
Johnson to punt.
The football at the Raider 46.
Geppert going back along.
Geppert, the deep man inside his 15-yard line, backpedaling to about the 10. Low snap, handled nicely, and the kick away, and I do mean away. Picked up on the run, fumbled. Geppert will fall on the football at about the 10 or 11-yard line.
Geppert falls on the ball at about the 11.
Of course, you're looking into the sun, but nonetheless, how much time do we have left? Can you tell?
I can't. I can see the scoreboard, and that's about it. The sun is right on that clock.
2 minutes remaining.
1:53 remaining here in the third quarter.
Tackle, right tackle. Be in the game.
Timeout. Riverview.
Raiders call a timeout, and we will too. Timeout on the field. We'll be right back. Following the Raider timeout, we're back in action. 21-13. Raider football, 1st and 10. And the Raiders coming off their left side.
By Rosser and a host of
That's Heekins on the carry. Rosser makes the tackle.
other tacklers, including Turner.
A gain of a couple of yards from the 11 to about the 13. 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8.
The Raiders by 8 at the tail end of this third quarter. It is 2nd and 8 from their 13-yard line. Dujak looking at Bynum. He throws, and this one's overthrown. Sanders on the coverage. Bynum coming off the field after the effort there. Picturesque Riverside Park here in Oakmont, where the sun has shone all afternoon, and very shortly, in another week or so, even these trees will begin to change color. From the end zone, we look at Dujak breaking out the team on a 3rd and 8. Looking to throw, fires.
Got a man out there.
And it is caught. First down. Will Anderson makes the grab, and he's up to the 27-yard line. So on the blitz, the Raiders are able to beat the blitz, get the pass off in the nick of time. They'll mark it at the 26-yard line. Here they come. And Anderson is going to be chased over there by Tobias Johnson. 25 seconds left here, period 3. Heekins on the call. And hit by Ray Turner. So they lose about a yard on that carry, and the ball is marked pretty close to the 25-yard line, making it 2nd and 11. Well, the third quarter comes to an end before the snap, and after 3, the Raiders with an 8-point lead, and we'll be right back.
All right, we're about ready to start the 4th and final quarter. The Raiders have it at their own 24-yard line. 2nd down and 11. 21-13 is the score, and Riverview on top. Here's a handoff up through the center of the line. Heekins breaks a couple tacklers and gets up near the 30-yard line. Rosser, the principal tackler for Clairton, pick up about 3.5, 4 yards, let's say, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 7. 3rd and 7.
3rd down and 7.
Tell you what, I've said it many times. This has to be the nicest place to do a ball game. We have the Clairton spotter. We have the Clairton spotter that says you haven't been to Clairton. Well, I'm going to take a day off and go up there.
You'll need all of it.
And here is Dujak over the middle, complete. And getting the first down, and then some is Chad Bynum. And he's still fighting, but he got the first down. And they'll spot him at about the 44-yard line. Good pass by Dujak right over the middle. And a terrific catch by Chad Bynum. And let's watch it again.
What sold this one, Joe, was the fake to the runner.
Right over the middle. So the Raiders get a first down. Ball at the 44. Their own 44. Lined up in a T this time. Hand off to Heekins. He gets to the outside. Heekins at the 45 and hit at the 40-yard line. Justin Webb finally caught up with him. But a pickup of almost 15 yards for Heekins. down to the 41-yard line.
Driving him out of bounds.
You know, I can't believe, Bob, in this conference that there are 3 teams better than Riverview. At least the record would indicate that.
Greensburg and
well, Clairton, Greensburg,
Clairton,
Wilkinsburg,
Duquesne.
Oh, here comes Dujak looking. Dujak is going to keep it. And he gets around one guy, can't get around the other one, and Johnson makes the stop at the 39-yard line. So the ball is going to be spotted at the 39. A lot of running by Dujak, and he only got 2 yards on it, but everybody covered downfield.
2-yard pickup. 2nd and 8.
2nd down, 8 yards to go.
Sam Glover, or I'm sorry, Bob Pica checks back into the lineup for the Raiders.
All right, Riverview out of the huddle and set to go. 2nd and 8 from the Clairton 39-yard line. Dujak sends Anderson in motion. Pitch back to Heekins. Heekins needs a block, gets it, hits for the outside, and he's going to be stopped over there by Ramsey, but he did manage to pick up about 4 yards as he gets to the 34-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about 3.
Joe, what's nice about this particular drive, they're eating up a lot of the clock.
True. Well, I'll tell you though, the sun has been out the entire ball game. Great afternoon for football, and right now it's a little bit better for the Raiders as they have an 8-point lead. And whistles.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. This looks like it's going to go against the Raiders.
Well, that was a 3rd down attempt. It was a dead ball
dead
foul.
False start on Riverview. Repeat 3rd down. The end.
They'll spot the ball between the 39 and 40.
3rd down and now 8.
3rd and about 8. So if the Raiders are able to hang on to this lead, you know, it's going to really jumble things up as far as. All right, here comes Dujak to the outside, pitch back to Heekins, and he's going to be hit and dropped. Oh, what a good play that time by number 33 for Clairton. Pete Dreer came up and really made a terrific defensive play on that pitch back to Heekins, and they threw Heekins for a loss. Back inside the 40-yard line of Clairton. So it'll be 4th down now. And Belisario is going to go back and punt the football from around his own 46, 47-yard line. And back for Clairton is Webb and Dreer. And there is the kick. It's going to hit and taken over there by Justin Webb. And there's a flag, there's another flag, and this, and he keeps breaking tackles over there. There's Webb, breaks another, and he is finally going to be dropped at about the 33, but they'll bring this one back. Flags all over the place, and clipping. It took place everywhere, it seems like. So they'll bring this one back, I'm sure. So the referee.
We had clipping, Clairton. That penalized will be half the distance to the goal. It'll be 1st down, Clairton.
So they'll spot the ball at about the 4.5-yard marker. So there it is right there, 42. He hit, I think that was number 8 for Riverview. That was Steve Sykin. He really got clipped. And so did Clairton. all the way down. Well, they spot the ball at about the 2-yard line is where they have it. My goodness. All right, Johnson got a long way to go from his own 2-yard line. Johnson hands off the right side, and there goes Webb. Somebody grabbed a hold of a jersey. I think that's Sam Glover, and Pika is the guy that made the play and ran him out of bounds at about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there's a few words being bantered about between the two teams here.
And it wouldn't make an opera either, I don't think. They'd have a hard time.
Tennessee Williams ever write an opera?
They'd have a hard time getting a little background music for that conversation, I'll guarantee you. Of course, Johnny Cash had some pretty good lyrics from time to time. All right, here we go. Johnson ready once again from his own 2. He keeps it on the quarterback keeper, and Dujak made the hit immediately on Johnson, and they'll stop the play after a gain of maybe a yard and a half. 3rd and long coming up for Clairton.
And this is where they're most dangerous, on 3rd and long. They get that Anderson loose. I would rather have him, you know, run the ball and throw the doggone thing. Boy, that was a big hit by Dujak.
So the Clairton Bears now are going to need about 8 yards, maybe 7, for the first down from their own 3-yard line. Johnson is back, throws a long pass, might be intercepted. It is not intercepted, but it's incomplete. And Geppert was back there, Matt Geppert. Good coverage. In fact, that pass that Clairton threw for a touchdown a while back, Bob, their second touchdown, Geppert had good position. He was in a perfect spot, but the pass was high. He couldn't quite reach it. And Clairton got a touchdown out of it. All right, here we go. 4th down. They're going to kick from their own end zone. Eakins and Geppert are going back, and Johnson deep in the end zone to punt this one out of there. And Riverview at about the 30-35-yard. Oh my, what a kick. Fair catch by Geppert, and he makes it at about the 45-yard line. What a kick by Johnson. Boy, that baby had that spiral to it all the way to the 45-yard line when you consider that he kicked it from deep in the end zone. It was about a 55-yard kick, and a good one. So 1st and 10 for the Raiders from the Clairton 45-yard line.
How much time left, Joe? Do you see anything yet, or still?
5 minutes, 48 seconds remaining. Boy, it's nice to have good working eyes. And there's a pop right up the middle to Heekins, and he gets across the line of scrimmage and picks up 2 or 3 yards. Johnson and Dreer for the stop. A gain of maybe 2 yards. 2nd down and 8. 2nd and 8. The Raiders put together a drive here, Bob. They can do a number on that clock.
Has anybody scored 21 on Clairton this year? Well, there's a first for the year, Joe. Riverview is the only team to score 3 touchdowns on him.
Here's Dujak. Fake the pitch back. Dujak, and he is going to get across the 35, but there is a flag on the play, and where it was thrown, it would indicate holding.
Flag on the play.
So let's wait and see. There's a holding call against Riverview. And John Kappa out there. I mean,
Here's holding. Riverview. Repeat 2nd down.
The Raiders are going to be hit with a 10-yard penalty. They'll bring the ball back inside the 45. Well, make it out there to the 46, actually. So it'll be 2nd down and 11 for the Raiders from the Clairton 46-yard line.
You know, talking about Clairton's schedule this year, they beat Sarah 52-16. They shut out Wilkinsburg 26-0. They beat Leechburg 53-12, and then last week got by Greensburg 36-18.
There's a draw to Heekins. Heekins runs into his own man, but he gets up to about the 39-yard line.
Nice gain, tackled there by number 61, Sanders.
Sanders there for the stop. And I think a timeout is going to be called here.
Timeout.
So there is a timeout on the field, 21-13 in favor of the Raiders.
Joe, just to look at, let's say, league play, okay? Greensburg scored the most on them until today when the Raiders notched 21. But for the 4 games that they've been in, they have given up 46 points, which is roughly 10, 11 points per game. 11 point something per game. But they've been averaging approximately
46.
Well, 43, yeah, 43 per game. If you take into account the victory they had over Fraser, 58-20, and it's the South Allegheny game that they won 27-12. So they do average 43 points per game. And it's just so hard to imagine that they're being, of course, give a lot of credit to the Raiders. They were up for the game here today, and their defense has held them so far to 13 points.
And actually, Bob, it could have 21-13, just an 8-point lead, but it could have been much more had they not fumbled the football as many times as they did. Clairton did recover 3 of them. So here we go, 3rd down and 5 from the 39-yard line. Here's Dujak. Dujak is going to get the first down, I do believe. I think he's going to get the, well, depending on the spot. Looked as though he had crossed the 35-yard line. Do they give it to him there? You do, and if he gets it right there, it's going to be a first down.
I was not sure when you were saying that he's got the first down. I thought he was more than a yard short, but you're right, he's awfully close.
Well, they spot the football across the 35, and if that be the case, it's going to be awfully close. I think he has it.
I don't know that I can't see the ball from here, so we got to look at the monitor.
Nothing wrong with that, but I believe he's got it. He does have it. All right, 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
Well, with under 5 minutes to play, that is a key first down.
So 1st and 10 for Riverview. At about, well, it's inside the 35. And the clock is moving. So Duchak brings his ball club up to the line of scrimmage, and it's Anderson and Heekins. The split backs. The ends tight with a slot to the left side. Here's a handoff to Heekins. He fights his way, still going down to the 15-yard line. Oh, brother. Lucas Heekins is finally hit by Johnson at the 15-yard line. Almost a 20-yard gain for Lucas Heekins. And I'll tell you what, it would almost be a sin for this Riverview team not to make the playoffs, as well as they're playing here against Clairton this afternoon. Of course, it's far from being over, but there's Heekins again, and Heekins run out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. Oh, brother. Tobias Johnson thought he ran him out at about the 2-yard line. And Rosser was also there. Oh, this Heekins, I'll tell you what, he can run. He can run. He's only a junior, isn't he, Bob?
You know what? Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I think he's just a junior, right? All right, ready to go.
That last voice from the truck came from a Riverview attendee, student. Attendee, not a student.
Dujak on the keeper, and no indication yet. Right at the goal line. Well, he's going to be a little bit short of the goal line. Inside the 1-yard line has Dujak on the keeper. Carter there to make the stop for Clairton. Finnegan also there. What is there, a holding call against the Raiders?
Oh, my.
Oh, brother. On a keeper, on a quarterback keeper, a holding call?
We had holding, Riverview. Repeat first down, first and goal.
That's a bad time to get caught with a holding penalty. From inside the 1 yard line, a quarterback keeper, and you're holding. Wow. Well, they bring the ball back to about the 11 yard line, so it's going to be, they got to get inside to the goal line, so it's first and goal from the 11. Dujack to Heekins. Heekins gets near the 10. Turner there. So there is very little gain on that play.
Second and goal from the 11.
Second and goal. Clairton, I think, plays Springdale next week, Bob, and they have Duquesne the last game of the season.
Don't forget, Springdale upset Duquesne 15-14 last weekend. So.
And then what happened last night? They lost to Leechburg 14-0.
Go figure, huh?
Hard to figure. Dujack on the keeper on the left side. He's not going to be able to make the corner, and he's going to be dropped at about the 12.
Joe, at this point,
Ramsey and Webb on the stop for Clairton, and a timeout for the Bears. Clairton takes a timeout.
I don't know. I think at this stage of the game, you got to go for 3 if you get it any closer.
Well, that could force two scores instead of one score and a 2-point conversion. A minute 58 remaining in the ball game. 21-13 in favor of Riverview. Big ball game, highly touted Clairton Bear Ball Club coming in here, and the Raiders have held their own with them, and maybe a little bit better than holding their own. They're up by 8 points, 21-13.
Next week, Joe, we've got
a dandy coming up with Highlands and Burl, two teams battling for a playoff berth in the Greater Allegheny Conference. It'll be well, it should be quite a ball game, and homecoming for the Burl Bucks as well.
And the game that
then the final game of the season is in limbo.
Right.
Simply because it's going to be either Katanning at Highlands or Burl at Valley, and we're just going to hold up on that game to see which game is going to be more meaningful as far as the playoff situation.
Joe, there's been no scoring now in this second half at all.
Might be some now coming up, we hope. All right, here's Dujack. Rolls out. Dujack still has it, still driving. He's going to get up near the 6 or 7 yard line, and he's going to be stopped right there. Ramsey on the stop. So it's going to be 4th down, and looks to me like, I don't know, looks like they may go for the field goal here, Bob. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Jake Kappa sends that field goal team in. Yeah, there goes Belisario.
And Giggler to hold.
So this could give the Raiders an 11-point lead. They're up by 8. Now the kick is going to be from the 15, so add 10 more yards to it. It'll be a 25-yard field goal attempt. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Belisario. And the Raiders are up by 11. Well, there's Jake Kapp out there. You better watch, Jake. I read a letter in the editorial section today about Cowher kissing Stewart. They didn't like it. At least the person that wrote the letter didn't like it. In fact, the letter writer said, I would much rather see two guys that are out in the middle of the field, and when the one is being congratulated, at least tap him on the rump rather than kissing him on the cheek. Well, anyway, everybody's got their own opinion. In either case, the field goal by Riverview puts them up by 11, 24-13, with very little time remaining.
Well, in France, they kiss on each cheek. In Alaska, they rub noses. In the United States, they should be shaking hands. I don't know.
I think.
What do they do in Italy?
I think. What do they do? Well, I don't know. In Italy, they start early and they take a little time off in the afternoon.
And goes on also into the game for the Raiders of Riverview.
Well, it's siesta time in the afternoon. Oh, boy. Well, I guess when your team is leading, you can tell a few jokes. Here's a squibbler. Oh, it's going to be taken right at the 44-yard line. Didn't have a chance to squib. And covering the kick there was Terry Neal at the 44-yard line. So the Clairton Bears are going to have to strike quickly. They're down by 11. So Johnson is going to have to go to work here. Terrence Johnson, that is the fine quarterback for Clairton. He's much more than a quarterback. We read a little story on him here in the local paper this past week, and he does just about everything and then some. 1:04 remaining in the ball game. Riverview 24, Clairton 13. Johnson is ready. He's got a couple of wideouts at the far side of the field, and Johnson is back. Looking. Johnson is going to be hit and dropped. And the first guy there was Walsh. Boy, what a nice grab there by Walsh, and the clock keeps moving as the ball is spotted at the 36-yard line. A loss of about 8 yards on that play. Sycon, was that the guy on the tackle also there? Okay. All right, here's Johnson back, looking, throwing a long pass, and it's caught. Oh, my, what a grab over there by number 10 for Clairton. Corey Wright. Boy, Wright was right on the money with that one, and he grabs it at the 37-yard line. 7-yard, well, the 37-yard line is where the grab was made, and he just spikes that ball real quick. Johnson does, stops the clock. Second down and 10. All right, ready to go once again. Here is Johnson. Looking, throwing, long pass, might be intercepted. And it is intercepted. And Chad Bynum takes it as the buzzer sounds the end of the ball game, and the Raiders win it 24-13.
All right, for the PNC Bank MVP, Lucas Heekins. Heekins, for the third time this year, has won the award, and he really put an effort into it today. So for PNC Bank, Lucas Heekins, our MVP for the Riverview Raiders in this, what might be considered by some an upset, a 24-13 win here this afternoon at Riverside Park. Now the post-game show of today's game brought to you by the Tool Works, a division of Thrift True Value Hardware. Thrift True Value with locations in New Kensington and Catani. And locally, dial 337-1193. All right, we'll take a look at the post-game show right after this timeout. The Riverview Raiders in their fifth Eastern A game, have won 24-13 over the Clairton Bears to improve their record to 3-2. Clairton, for the first time this year, goes down to defeat in not only section play but overall. So they are now 6-1 after 7 weeks. And the Riverview Raiders have certainly improved. The Raiders next weekend have Greensburg on the road. Then they finish with Leechburg here at home on a Saturday afternoon in 2 weeks. And obviously we will be here for that particular game. But you talk about an effort today, and you know, we were looking at a lot of different players for that MVP award. But how do you overlook an effort as Heekins had here today?
Well, Bob, what I was going to say before was that Joe made a great point during the game. You watch this team play today, you wonder how they've ever lost. And they overcame 3 turnovers, and they still win the game by 11 points. And I mean, that was a terrific effort. They pretty much dismantled the #1 team in AA, and it was a fantastic effort for the Raiders today. Here are the stats. Justin Dujak, 5 for 10, 74 yards passing, 15 carries, 93 yards. He had 167 total offense for the Raiders here this afternoon. Lucas Heekins, our MVP, 23 carries, 176 yards. That's hard to overlook. Will Anderson, 4 carries, 9 yards. Matt Geppert, 3 for 11. Chad Bynan caught 2 passes for 41. Will Anderson, 2 for 30. And Lucas Heekins caught 1 for 3. For the Clairton Bears, well, the Raiders did a terrific job containing Terrence Johnson today. He was 7 for 16 for 99 yards passing. He had 8 carries for 44 yards, and really sacked 4 times in the 55-yard touchdown was the only damage that was done by Terrence Johnson, and pretty much the only, other than the long touchdown pass, the only offense the Bears had to write home about. Their leading rusher other than that was Ray Turner, 9 yards on 2 carries. Elliott Page had 3 yards on 2 carries. Justin Webb had 3 yards on 5 carries. And Pete Dreer, -5 on 3 carries. Receiving, Corey Wright, 46 yards, 2 receptions. Dante Sanders, 26 yards, 2 receptions. One of those, that beautiful touchdown. Justin Webb, 16 yards on 1 catch. And Ray Turner, 1 catch for 12. And before we go, we'd like to look at that field goal. The clincher by Earl Belisario, a 25-yarder with time running out. And he kicked it with plenty of room to spare, straight through the uprights. Beautifully done. 24-13 Raiders. They made 3 extra points today and 1 field goal. Kind of takes you back to those days when they were going for 2 points on all those touchdowns, and it just makes you wonder. But anyway, the Raiders win it 24-13. They keep their playoff hopes alive. They'll be at Greensburg Central next Friday night, the first ever night game at Greensburg Central Catholic, as the lights have been installed. And they will do that and then finish it up here in 2 weeks against the Leechburg Blue Devils. So hopes are still alive for the Raiders, Bob.
Okay, that wraps it up here for Riverside Park. And a special thanks to Jake Kappa's athletic staff for their assistance to the Comcast crew here at Riverside Park in Oakmont. And a special thanks to Rick Rosenberger of the Riverview School District for his assistance to the announcers, the statistician, and the entire crew. He baked all night and brought in some nice goodies. So
he's unbelievable in that kitchen, I tell you.
Anyway, the Raiders win it. The final was 24-13. On behalf of Joe Falsetti, Mike Pavlik, and the rest of the Channel 3 crew from Comcast Cablevision, I'm Bob Tattern. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching this one on a Saturday night, stay tuned now for the Ford City and Deer Lakes game. If you're watching this one on a Sunday, let's see who's up next. The Polka Hour follows.